Yo, what's going on guys? It's Panda here again. We're gonna jump right back into things from where we last left off. Hopefully a bit better than last time, that's for sure. I do apologise for last time, I was a bit off my game I guess. But yeah, no, I got a good response from my first video with Lilly, so I think we made the right choice. As a team, as a whole, I think we all made the right choice. But yeah, I'm just being a dick now, so hey, let's get back into it, shall we? I don't think I read this last time, so we'll start. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bell's end. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival. That's very much in full swing. I'm pretty sure I did actually read this. Damn it. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of the younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. If you're gonna look that casual, you gotta whistle as well, you know, that's popular. Actually, that just makes you look more dodgy, to be honest. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all these people around. I decide to fall back on a tired and trusted rule. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Oh, there must be a fight. It always happens at my school. I'm sure that happens at every other school, to be honest. Whenever there's a crowd, there must be a fight. Throwing the used plate into the trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, definitely Lilly's, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Oh, Kenji's. Well, yeah, Kenji, hell, come on. Lilly's stall is a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going after all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Hey, I remember this from Arthur's. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organise everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, and with the equipment for cooking strewn everywhere. It's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As the student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around me. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere. As pots and pans simmer away, the most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lilly among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mind of mild confusion, oops, I didn't go back. It appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can steer any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lilly pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places and the counter and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that, we're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess I'll have some... What should I... Oh yeah, I'll have the miso soup, thanks. Ah, is that Hisao? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitressification. Somewhere along the line our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. blind to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over 8. I take it that's why your teacher left? That's right, she's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup, alright, coming up. Lilly turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup, and I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. I bet she can do something else with those fingers if you know what I'm saying. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over correct change, she puts it in a small metal tray as she should be able to trust me. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop off the box. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there is one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done here? Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako too. Thank you, Hisao. I am trying to change my voice a tiny bit just for Lilly. Tell me if it's working out. I don't think it's working out. I'm not going to do girl voices and shit like that. I didn't do that with Hanako. I can't do that. I'm terrible at doing different voices. I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavour is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. I need to stop worrying so much yourself. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the store to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking out. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they were, Lilly still appears to be somewhat stressed. Right, I know what I'll do. Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. As I place the bowl on the counter, I call out to Lilly. Ah, Hisao, you brought it back? Yeah, here. I slide it into her hands, and she takes it over to someone who is apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Hey Lilly. She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realising that I'm still here. Want to go see some more of the festival? Oh, that's the way, Hisao. Outright positive, good attitude like that. She puffs her cheeks disapprovingly. Oh. It looks kind of cute, and in complete contradiction to her usually reserved nature. It takes a few seconds for me to get what she's taking issue with. Whoops. I didn't mean to. Lilly giggles at me, exposing her teasing for what it is. You're still not used to the school, are you? She got me. Bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Still, I kind of need to stay with our store. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked. There was no one even in the line. I mean, are you sure people don't like your food that much? I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much she's worked to put into the I've got you there. I'm not going to go anywhere. Everything seems to be running fine now though. Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway. Just come see the festival with me, Lilly. Please. The boy in the middle of cooking some soba noodles turns towards us grinning. Go on, Lils. Lils! I will not be calling you that, Lilly. I'm sorry. I do not approve of that nickname. You've earned yourself a break, so we can hold down the fort for you. If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. Lily. Oh, God. But if you need any help, then we'll call you. Go on, we'll be fine. Get the fuck out of here, Lily. We don't need you. Go hang out with your boyfriend. Lily finally gives up her resistance as he waves the spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stool. Oh, she's feeling her way around me. And picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lily seems kind of worried about her, and I doubt she'd be the kind of person to enjoy milling about in crowds like this all alone. So I guess we should search for Hanako. Where to first? The both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room. I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. So, the first thing you think of is her dorm room. You just want to go and catch her when she just comes out of the shower or something. I thought we'd gone past her. Alright. We're on Lily now. We like Lily. Hanako. I shouldn't say that. Hanako is my first and only. Lily's just trying to get me. Ah! The library! Oh, wait, sorry. Ah! The library? As good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. That seemed like as if it should have been read in a very old English accent. As good as a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. Is that good enough? I don't know. The library it is. We'll check there first then. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowd seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organised to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large, by any other school standards. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. Who says hustle and bustle these days? It's like we're living in old-timey. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lily anticipates every door and obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hand skating along the hallway railings. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for a few years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up though, sometimes. I haven't been there as long, and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories. That explains why the male and female dorms look different from the outside and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. Speaking of buildings that were previously used for something else and are now used for different things, we have this place in New Zealand, Auckland to be exact, called Spookers. It's basically it used to be a mental asylum, for the crazy people, crazy people. But that got shut down a long time ago, and they basically turned it into a haunted house. And you have to drive for about 5 minutes in complete darkness with no street lights to get there, with no houses around either. And when you get there, there's people in the car park that try to scare you and stuff. There's no lights anywhere. It's awesome, to be honest. I don't know why I just told you that, just in case you're going to New Zealand and going to Auckland and thinking, where can I get scared? Because that's definitely the first thing you do when you go to a new country. You think that, yuck. I'd assumed she'd be living in the dormitory since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. That's right, you mentioned that before. I forgot we talked to Kira yesterday. Kira and Lily. I assumed that most of the students here lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to, in any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching on a delicate point. Touch on her delicate point, if you know what I mean. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of those with reasons is Hanako, hence her tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or, in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that. I thought you were coming to dislike it. Oh, I love Yamaku. Yamaku's awesome. What about you, though? My reversal of Lily's statement takes her by surprise. I've been here for a while, so... It's not that. You just seem pretty... I'll leave it at that. You just seem pretty. You are pretty. Okay, maybe I should continue. You just seem pretty depressed about Akira. Squiggly line. What's with that look? What's with that look? Akira's taken. Sorry, Hisao. Lily never sees how fast my palm meets my face at a sly accusation. Face palm. Hey, I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern. While she gives an amused grin, we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. Yo, what up, Hanako? Remember me and you back in the day? We used to go out, we used to chill. We were pretty awkward at times, but hey, we got along, As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely devoid of anyone else. What about Yuko? Given that there are no staff around, there you go. I guess there's no need to heed the usual library rules. I call out to her. Hanako! Sorry, I can't be loud because there's other people in the frickin' house. God damn it. I have relatives staying here. Hey, Hanako. Hanako is here? Well, duh. Lily. Thought you'd know that. As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book. Probably the same one she's been reading on Friday. What was that, Life of Pi? Hisao? Lily? Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help. It sounds like a scene out of an action movie. I just escaped from the noodle stall. Noodle is such a funny word. So is flannel. Flannel. It wasn't really an escape. We did dive bomb and there was an explosion behind you and it all went into slow-mo, so I'd call that an escape. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. She's much more open-minded in this part than she was with just me. I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying the festival. Well, now we can enjoy it together, right? The two nod happily before we set out of the library and towards the festivities. Oh wow. She's so much different in this part. 700? I'm hoping that's yen. Of course it's yen. I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the 2 styrofoam cups of tea. I try to accentuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those two in the gardens while I brought drinks. Trying to juggle the 2 cups of hot tea, we shouldn't be trying to juggle them, for them, and a can of coffee, for myself, out of a vending machine, isn't exactly easy. Maybe if you just carried them, instead of trying to juggle them, it would be a lot easier. Just a handy hint. With some careful manoeuvring though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lily and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place. Lit only by moonlight, it's tucked away some distance from the main events. It's like Rape Village, to be honest. Look how dark it is over here and over here. This could be a nice little like stop. Compared to how it had not been during the how hot it had been during the day, the spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Well, that's because I'm here. It's so cool. Oh, this commentary is just full of horribly lame jokes. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Hisao. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close and even Hanako hadn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand and I gently place the other in Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer, much of the food had been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lilly. In fact, I think those two may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. I need a burp. Right. Sorry. I'm not really that sorry. With both Lilly and I around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Oh, that's... As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first firework rings out before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end of the festival. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowd scattered around the school grounds celebrating the "Yeah! Woohoo! Go! Yeah!" I don't think that's how people cheer when there's fireworks. Usually people just stare and watch. That's right. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watch the fireworks overhead as Lilly blissfully listens to them with her eyes shut. Alright, this is gonna start giving me a seizure. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular and patterned, in all manner of shapes and... Good God! Colours fill the air after one another and dance around the sky. Can we stop the seizure, please? No place near where I lived on such lavish displays. A festival like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these two, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. Thank God for that. That was really hard. Oh, it's still going. So, that's it. The festival's finally ending. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. I walk forwards and stand beside Lilly, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we'll still have Tanabata later in the year, right? What is Tanabata? You're right, it would be nice to go there when it comes. Minutes of silence pass with only the blast of the fireworks to be heard. Seeing these two reminds me of the words of advice Lilly had given me as we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey Lilly. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening. Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the Technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. I want to watch the fireworks. Mind if I join you two for tea every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. Fuck no. It would be a pleasure, Hisao. Aww. That filled my heart with warm fuzzies. Seriously, it actually did. That was actually really cool. I wake to the annoying din of my alarm clock, its bright red numerals lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home, one of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamaku. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into this new life. No such luck though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wipe the sleep out of my eyes and reach over to my desk. I open a couple of the bottles of medication strewn across it and swallow a few pills dry. By now the process is starting to become automatic, something I should be glad for given their purpose. Feeling much more awake than before, I wander into the bedroom. Oh no, bathroom. I think I know this scene all too well. While the shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. The bright colours of the fireworks fill my mind, as do the two girls with whom I spent my time watching. It feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. Then again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances, unless I have someone to talk to now aside from my schoolmate next door, who we're about to see in the shower, no doubt. With the time left before school begins today waning, I begin to get ready for class. No? Oh, thank God! We don't see Genji! This is a good day indeed. This is a fantastic day already. Walking through the door into the classroom, I notice that I'm still somewhat early. I see about 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as if they'd rather still be in bed. I think everyone would still be in bed. It's at times like this that I appreciate being a morning person. Oh, I'm not a morning person at all. That said, 2 students in particular seem just as perky as always. I'm guessing Shizune and Misha. Yep. I suddenly realise that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. She doesn't seem overly or interested for that matter. I'm gonna have a drink. I'm sure you can guess what I'm drinking. I'm not even gonna say anymore. Hello, Hachan. Are you feeling well? Okay, I'm not gonna do Misha. I can only assume her greeting comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking as herself or Shizune sometimes. Better than most everyone else, I guess. You two seem bright and chipper. You two seem bright and chipper. Chipper sounds like something the English would say. Misha signs us back to Shizune as I say it. Eliciting. A somewhat terse answer, if her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indication. Considering that these two made such a big deal out of the festival preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. ... Exclamation mark! Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. Whoa. Who the fuck died and made you boss? Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune continues unabated. While your contribution to Class 3-2's stall is appreciated, word sure got around quickly. That or these two have their fingers on the pulse of the school. We would prefer your efforts to be focused on the task at hand, namely your own class. As much as I hate to admit it, they do have a point. Before I can respond though, Shizune adds something more, which draws a smile from Misha. ... Did you enjoy the festival then? Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you two enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces her head up and down. The contrast side by side is amusing. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students starting to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they are a few minutes late. Not that the teacher's here yet, so I doubt it really matters. Aww, Hanako's smiling. But I can't have any feelings for it, because I love Lilly, remember? You guys better not tell Hanako that, I'm with Lilly. Well, I'm not with Lilly yet, but hey, we're gonna get there. Otherwise I'm gonna be in the shit. I look over to Hanako's seat and realise that she's already there, and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. With heavy footsteps coming up the hallway signalling Mattel's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end and I take my seat next to Misha. Oh, we have to sit next to Misha? Oh god, I didn't even realise that. This whole time. As the door slides open, he strides through with a ponderous gait. His posture is even worse than usual and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lilly and Hanako about the staff was misplaced. Everyone opens their books as he reaches his desk and the first class of the new week begins. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for the temporary reprieve from work. Lilly! I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lilly standing there, cane in hand, patiently waiting for Hanako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decided to spend my lunchtime with them rather than eat alone. Good, don't be a loner. They both disappear into thin air. Hanako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the two enter the hallway before I can catch up. Lilly's head turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her. As Hanako notices and follows her lead, she almost jumps in surprise. Hisao? Hello, Hisao. Hi, sorry if I startled you. You seem to startle people a lot, Hisao. You need to stop that. It's one of your pet peeves. Lilly turns to greet me, helped in her orientation by Hanako. Good afternoon, Hisao. Are you joining us? If it's no trouble, there's not much else to do, really. Lilly gives a small nod, as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be troubling at the least. What? Did I miss something there? I don't think I missed anything. I think it was just like a flash between... And then we come to this ugly painting. We descend one set of stairs and walk down the hallway to the usual room, our pace somewhat quicker than usual, thanks to Lilly using Hanako for direction, rather than her cane and the railings.